From Auckland District, ladies and gentlemen, from Manukau City, Meaghan Lee is from Macleans College. Meaghan, thank you.
Bang! A weapon rests in my hands. The piercing sensation of cold steel upon bare skin sends ripples up my limbs. The thought that I possess the ability to determine whether someone will live or die empowers me, emboldens me, frightens me. Ladies and gentlemen, where am I? Is it 1916 as I swelter in my khaki uniform, peering above the trenches of Passchendaele at my Austrian enemies? Or am I short of cash, standing outside a supermarket with a balaclava on? Am I filled with rage, walking into school with a list of students and teachers who I wish to punish? As New Zealand enters a new decade, we must realize the true significance of Anzac Day. Because I believe that this year we should not only be mourning the loss of people, but also of something much more intangible. We should also be mourning the tragic disappearance of the virtues of honor, morality, and courage for which these people died so callously in order to preserve. This loss is commemorated most aptly by New Zealand's ultimate symbol of sacrifice, the tomb of the unknown warrior. This soldier's last battle has been fought. His journey concluded as his tired body sleeps within hallowed stone, encased within perpetual safety at the National War Museum in Wellington. He died on the Western Front with his comrades as they rested beside one another amongst filth and the stinking stench of human desperation. They were fated to die, to disappear as yet another statistic, yet he would lose his name in addition to his life. We will never know how, why, or when he died. Was he struck by a shell or bullet? Did he burn from the inside out as mustard gas corroded his lungs? Did he die instantaneously? Or did he suffer in agony for hours with a dismembered limb or a piece of shrapnel lodged within his chest? Did he wake up that morning knowing that it would have been his last? We do not know his name, and we never will. We do not know his rank or his battalion. We do not know where he was born, where he lived, how he made a living. We will never know who and what he left behind. We do not know who loved him and whom he loved. His family is lost to us, just as he was lost to them. Our New Zealand and the nation that he knew are wholly different. We now live in a world so contorted and corrupt with modernism and consumerism that it would have been out of the reach of his imagination. He may have been one of those who yearned escape and adventure. He may have felt that he would never live down the shame of not going. He may have simply answered the call of duty, the duty he owed his nation. He may have been a drinker, an adulterer, a tax evader, but this we will never know. To New Zealand, he is a blank face, an unidentifiable symbol, a mesmerizing mystery. No less than 10% of New Zealand's total population went overseas to fight in the First World War. We were the furthest country from the conflict, and yet sent more troops per head than any other nation, with half our men becoming casualties. The war was chaotic and brutal, and has now been perpetuated within history for its military and political incompetence. The waste of human life was so immense that some say that the threshold between victory and defeat had wholly disappeared. And because the war that was supposed to end all wars, in fact, sowed the seeds for a second, even more terrible war, we might think that this unknown warrior died in vain. But this is not true. there emerged a lesson from the hardship and the brutality. It was a lesson about ordinary people, and that they were not ordinary at all. There are heroes on all sides, not only the generals and the politicians, but the soldiers and the wives and the nurses, those who taught us to endure adversity, be courageous, show resilience, and to uphold the notions of honor. Nowadays, with my generation, the ultimate sense of honor can be derived from coming top of the class, being voted prom queen, getting into med school, making millions as a lawyer or dentist. Honor is no longer a reciprocate of sacrifice and bravery. I have come to realize that honor cannot come to those who actively seek it. The ultimate honor, in fact, is to sacrifice your identity, to allow your body to disintegrate into a million fragmented, shrapnel-covered pieces, to permit every remaining remnant of yourself to disappear amongst a muddy mass grave of thousands, to die amongst misery and chaos. This is the loneliest death of all. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the greatest honor of all. And whilst I, as a Chinese immigrant, bear no familiarity to the names that engrave our museum walls, my grandpa lost his life serving his country before he could meet any of his grandchildren. To me, he is anonymous. To me, he embodies selfless sacrifice. He is my very own unknown warrior, and I cherish this fact with immense pride and grief. The unknown warrior reminds all of us today of what we have lost and what we have gained. We have lost thousands of lives. We have created thousands of devastated and grief-stricken families. But we have gained a legacy, a tale of hardship and heroism, and with it a greater understanding of ourselves, our nation, our democracy, and what it truly means to be a New Zealander. These are the unsung heroes of New Zealand history. He is all of them, and he is one of us. Thank you.